Kids, I'm gonna tell you an incredible...
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
It's gonna be legend. Wait for it. Dairy.
Expecto Patronum! I am no Jedi.
Beats. Battlestar Galactica. Assemble.
Monday, May 15th, 2023.
23.
Oh my goodness, we are off today. Smashing start. You guys are live here with the Carbonite Crew Show, where we, at least one half of us, does indeed know the year that we are in. We're almost halfway through this thing, and you're messing it up.
Dude, I write the date all day, every day for my job, and it is the one thing I can never remember throughout
That's
my day.
why-
Clearly the year, too.
That's why he's not good at his job.
I can't wait till Guardians of the Galaxy comes out next year. It's going to be great.
Dumb joke. Anyway, let's move on.
Full of them.
Nice little spoiler there, nice segue.
Yes.
Tonight, we'll be taking time to discuss our thoughts on the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie that we both watched this past weekend. We were about a week late to the party since it came out, a week and a half ago. But we spent our last weekend at
I can't believe you saw it before I
Indiana
did.
Comic Convention. Well, yeah,
That's weird.
I care about what we do here.
Oh, gosh.
And so I put the effort in.
Just so dumbfounded. Look, you're leaving stuff on the table, dude. Who was so unprofessional over here?
Oh, man.
Okay. Welcome in, guys. Like
Welcome.
he said, today we're going to be talking Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3
Numero Trace.
Trilogy. We are here. We are trilling it up. I mean, we're not trilling it up. We're
Mhm.
ending a trilogy.
Yeah.
And a good, an okay one. A good one overall.
good.
Right? Like the whole trilogy was really good.
Yeah.
Started out strong. And Volume 1. Second one, it didn't live up to it. I'll be honest.
I totally agree.
It didn't,
I completely agree.
it didn't live up to it.
We're good at this, guys.
And
Professional.
the third one, which is why we're here today,
Mhm.
I guess let's just jump into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you rank this movie? And I mean, we're a little more critical on our scales now. At least we're trying to be a little more critical on our scales.
We are trying to be. So if I'm being critical, I think I put it at a 5.
Whoa! Clearly they're still doing something very wrong with my ratings, which is possible.
Listen, it was fine. Like, it was not a bad movie. Maybe 5.5, like slightly over average. But like,
Okay,
I'm not rushing to watch
Right.
this movie again.
fair enough.
Like, when it comes out, I might watch it a second time.
You might borrow the Blu-ray from me and never give it back again.
No, the first one was a very good movie, so it was worth stealing a Blu-ray from your best friend.
You
This
gave me
one-
the sleeve back, but I
this
don't
one-
have the DVD.
This one, I don't believe the story, but anyway, I
100%.
I wouldn't steal a Blu-ray for this movie. Let's just say that.
Okay, a 5.5.
Yeah.
Being generous is you're giving it a 5.5.
Yeah. If I'm
Out of
being
10.
generous, I'll give it 5.5 because I laughed a lot.
Okay, so
But I'll come back to that.
Okay, so I was on my way here thinking about this rating,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna give it I'll be generous with mine as well. I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
7.5.
So I
okay.
think it was a really good movie. Like you said, though, I'm not rushing back to go see it, and I have my reasons why.
Mhm.
But I think as a movie, it was really good. I think it told a good story within this film. I think it wrapped up a lot of things, at least from the first movie. I feel like the second one almost just doesn't matter in any capacity. Like, I'm trying to think about the second one and things that carried over into other Marvel movies, into the Avengers
Yeah.
and anything. I don't really
Other
think
than
it
characters,
matters.
like characters.
Like Mantis being
Yeah.
introduced and Nebula's story. Nebula's story arc was really the big thing, I feel like, in that one, kind of. Her becoming good.
Yep.
But that one doesn't matter to me, to be
Right.
honest. That's not my favorite film at all. Like, I think that film gets lower and lower as we go on.
Well, I think it was just not. It was not a strong.
It wasn't. It had a lot to live up
in this
to.
series, and so
It had a lot to live up to.
But like now, this Marvel movie collection that we have. Are we at 30 movies yet?
I bet we are near 30 movies.
We might be.
We have to be.
We're definitely getting close to it if we're not already over it. And like that is a ton
With shows and stuff.
a ton of movies. And so if one is kind of not great and it's a stinker, it's just gonna get pushed down because
it's not one of those things where you're like, okay, let's do our marathon. Cool, like we have to sit through this. It's like we're getting to the point where it's like I'm not gonna bother to turn some stuff on.
No.
I know how it plays out, or I know whether or not there's something that I need to see again.
Yeah.
And it's just like Thor 2 is getting to that point. No point to really turn it on. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is getting to that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where we're at. Like I said, 7.5. I don't know really where you want to go with this.
That's generous. So here, let me ask you this question because I might try to fight you on this a little bit.
Let's have a healthy debate.
No, like a fight.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, so let's say it's 30 movies. It's gonna be really close. It might be 28, but if it's 30-ish movies, I'm not gonna ask you to sit here and rank them all.
Okay.
But if we split that into like quarters, let's say 6 to 8 movie quarters.
Okay.
Which of those buckets do you think it lands in?
That sounds like a great topic for another show.
I think we should do it at some
we should
point.
do that show
because there's
so basically
ton.
tier them into 4 tiers.
Tier them into 4. We might do 5 if we actually do a video. But like right now, just think if you split it into fourths, is it in the top quarter?
So what do we? How many is in each quarter?
6 to 8.
So
because we don't know how many movies there are.
Right. Let's just say 6.
Because I bet it's not in the top 2.
So
I bet you.
See,
I
this
bet
is
if
hard
I
without
asked you-
looking at it.
I bet if I asked you to say, "Hey, can you come up with 15 Marvel movies you liked more?" I bet it would not take you that long.
Avengers 1, 2, 3, 4. Captain America 1, or Captain America 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm. You didn't like the first Captain America more than that.
It's a very. It is a pretty good one. Okay, that Iron Man 1, Thor 1, 3, and 4. So we're at 11
already. Spider-Man, 1, 2,
all
and
of the
3.
Spider-Mans. Multiverse of Madness.
14, 15. I told you. Like that's where I'm at with it. It's like,
okay, that's fair.
This doesn't really. It's not. It's just not a lot compared to what we've been given.
So my 7.5 is still fair though. Like
that's
I just
fine, that's
overall
fine. Because you might say that on average, maybe you're, that might be like what the tier is because you love those movies so much.
But
That's
just
totally
overall
fine.
in the Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like this. We're gonna have to revisit this and like really list them out. Because now I'm curious. We can include shows maybe because there's a lot of shows too now.
That's
Moon Knight's out there.
Moon Knight.
We need to watch. I'll need to do a Moon Knight rewatch.
I
saw a tweet like from like a month or two ago, and I was talking about that finale.
Wild, man. It was so good too.
I think we have some videos on our page of our
We
reviews.
do. Yeah,
so go watch those.
And us watching it. I'm pretty sure we live watched it a couple times.
We did. It was super cool. I mean, that was a good show.
That was a fun show.
Oscar Isaac just killed it.
He's awesome.
We need season 2, Disney.
Yep.
So,
but let's go back to this movie that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our general, like, okay, if we're gonna sit here and rank it, this is what our thoughts were on it, right? Like, how did we see this movie? What did we feel kind of walking out of it, really?
Yep. Sadness. Let's just get into that.
Yeah. So it was a sad movie, right?
It was a very sad movie. So I have some notes
Mm-hmm.
I jotted down here. Where are we at? Where are my notes? Same place they always been. Okay, so I texted you immediately after this movie.
Yeah.
And I think this was the most emotionally taxing Marvel movie, maybe movie. And I know maybe that's stretching it, but like at least that I can think of that I've sat through in a long time.
Yeah.
If you're an animal lover, which a lot of people are, and even if you're not, I mean, the way they gave facial expressions to these CGI animals and gave them, traits and stuff, like, it was sad because they were like, at least Rocket, like, he was younger, right? So he was a kid, basically. And it was sad. And there was a lot of, animal torture, I guess, to be very light.
It absolutely
and this guy should have played Kang. I'm starting to just think this actor, because he killed it as a villain.
He was phenomenal. I was sitting there watching. I was like, my goodness, this villain is one of the better ones we've gotten in a Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh,
I think he was really good.
Like I I mean, it's good from a villain standpoint, like Kang, because like you can kind of see his point of view, like you kind of get that. But this guy, you want him to lose.
Yep.
Thanos, you could kind of see his point. Like there's villains you want that, but this guy, no. Like this was
crazy, and you really felt it, and it came through.
It's just one of those villains that's I think will eventually over time just be like that guy.
Yeah.
You know, when you have your list of villains.
It's funny though. I don't remember his name.
I couldn't tell you. You're right, 100%. I'm blanking on who's the lady from Harry Potter.
There's a lot of ladies.
No,
in Harry Potter.
the real bad one. You know her.
Bellatrix?
No. The teacher. Dude, Bellatrix is a great villain.
Umbridge.
See that change in tone?
You're right.
Umbridge. Like that. This is Umbridge level.
She is worse than Bellatrix. You're right.
She's the worst. Dude, 100%. Umbridge is the worst. That's where this guy ranks for me. Like he's in that tier, like just bad people. Okay. But it was so emotionally taxing because it's a Guardians movie, so you have humor, which we'll jump into in a little bit. You had, this. I teared up at one point for sure because I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this is so hard to watch. And then you have, and there was one moment that really stuck out in particular to me. It was, so spoilers are coming.
I put it on the show title, so there is no excuse.
Spoilers are here.
You cannot complain.
Yeah, we gave that's at least 10 seconds. But there's where basically Rocket's trying to break him and his friends out, and the villain kills Lila.
Yeah.
Right? And the friends. And then you have this moment, and I can feel it already coming into me. I'm feeling what I felt last night when I watched this movie. But you have it where Rocket just loses it. And like goes, and like you felt that rage. And you're like, probably isn't what Marvel condones, but you're just like, yes, Palpatine was flowing through me. I'm like, yes, you just keep going, feed into it. I'm just like, yes, like tear him apart. Yes.
Do it. Kill him now.
Yes. Which I'm surprised Rocket didn't kill him there, like even with the blaster, because he was filled with that rage.
Yeah.
But it was really hard to watch this movie in the sense that the jokes were really good, which sounds like you had a good time with them. But it was really hard at points in this movie because you would go from these like animal scenes to like another scene, and I don't know if they were purposely trying to break that tension or if they were like, it's Guardians, so we just have to have a lot of humor.
Yeah.
But like they would say a joke, and like I recognized it was funny, but I'm just like, I'm not there mentally. I can't, like maybe I'd chuckle, but not like I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not funny right this second. Give me 2 more minutes or 5 more minutes. Because this is, to me, it's heavy stuff.
No, I think I'm there with you where I feel like I was emotionally in this movie. And I think I tend to be a little more easy to kind of like get into it when I'm actually watching something. But every time the jokes came up, I would laugh because like, okay, that's funny.
Yeah.
I think one of the ones was my favorite joke was the car door situation. that was really funny to me.
That was which. Do we want to like talk about that for a second? Just the car door scene, because was this the first F-bomb in Marvel?
I was trying to think through that. Is it?
Because it took me by surprise.
It shocked me, and that's what made me laugh so much. Because I was just not expecting.
As soon as they said that, I was like. My first thought was like, if you could insert the F word in anywhere in this movie, where would it be? Like in particular Star Wars, where would you put it? And I'm like, this is what they chose. But I'm like, it's brilliant because you would never think of this moment, so it catches you totally off guard.
I was just like, whoa.
I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to get flagged by YouTube, but it's a great moment.
I was dying in the theaters laughing at that. But so I can recognize that that's funny. And I can recognize that the scenes with Rocket and with the rest of the 4, Lila and Floor and
Teefs. Floor.
Those were so incredibly emotionally intense. I did not enjoy the juxtaposition of both of those things happening in the same movie.
Right.
I struggled. The bouncing back and forth. I walked out and I was like, I didn't like that. That was not enjoyable.
And to bring it back, and maybe this is why you didn't like it, to bring it back to my original rating of 7.5, that's why it's a 7.5. Because that movie got so many emotions out of me in such a short period of time, so many different emotions. And the fact that a movie can do that, so well and tell me a story. Because think like all 4 of them in their cages, like screen time was what, maybe 10 minutes together.
Yeah.
You got all, and then as soon as they got killed pretty fast. I was actually very surprised how fast they got killed off. But by the time it happened, you were devastated.
Yep. You're right. It was pretty brutal. Now here's a thought I had that I wanna check in with you on. So. I got that text from you saying this is the most emotionally taxing Marvel, or one of the most emotionally taxing Marvel movies we've watched, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, was it the movie, or was it the fact that you and I had decided that somebody was going to die, so we sat there waiting for it for the entire movie?
No,
for me that was part of it.
It was
It was
the
like,
animal stuff for me.
I had fully expected it.
And I thought we were gonna get it at the end.
I thought
it was gonna be Peter.
All of these different moments, I thought it was gonna happen, and then it didn't. And then
Drax multiple times.
Yep. I thought for sure, like 1000%, somebody was going, and I think that's why I was like so hanging on it emotionally.
Yeah.
Because I was just like waiting for it, and then it just kind of didn't happen.
That's a good point, actually.
And so I wonder how much of it was like I created that in myself because I was waiting for something that, like, I didn't have a reason to think other than it just felt like something that would happen.
I mean, I feel like the trailers lent us to believe that.
I think so too.
So you say, you kind of made yourself go into this movie feeling this certain way, expecting this certain thing, but it's a 7.5 because he purposely did that in the trailer to make you feel that way going in.
Okay, but like that's fine, and I can appreciate that, like, it was an emotional movie, but if I'm rating on how I liked it, I just didn't love that part of it.
Like them going back and forth?
Yeah.
Oh, no. That is
enjoyable.
You take all the animal scenes out, I'll probably watch this movie again next week. Like, that, it gets me. Like, it just, I don't know. I went home. We have a dog at home. I've never given that dog more cuddles in my life than last night. Okay?
Oh, my goodness.
And she's feisty and she's a brat. But last night I was like, nope. I don't know. I lost my train of thought. I got sad again.
Lost your train?
Well, that's the thing too. I think is really cool about what?
I don't know. I just said it.
Power Ranger trains is what came into my head when he said that. But I think what's awesome about this movie is this was Rocket's movie, right?
Yeah.
You even have that moment where Lila says to him, like, when he's pretty much going to go, into heaven or into the afterlife.
In the King's Cross scene?
Yes, that one.
I was like, I've seen this before.
You're right. I think they did it a lot better in this movie. I don't know. There was just maybe it's because I was in that emotional state.
Versus
Harry Potter.
I was gonna say, in case anybody doesn't know what we're talking about. Although,
yes,
big spoiler.
If you haven't seen or read Harry Potter, this is a huge spoiler.
Like the biggest spoiler in Harry Potter. When Harry, spoiler, dies.
See, I don't even think of it like that though.
Well, it's because he comes back. He doesn't.
Right.
He dies but doesn't die. It's a thing. But he talks to Dumbledore at King's Cross.
See, in this, I'm convinced Rocket died.
And it's a very similar scene to me where it's like Rocket is dead, or as close to dead as one can be without being dead. And he talks to Lila and has that moment with her.
And she's like,
that one was the only one.
I think that was actually where I teared up. Now that I think about it, like that was
the one that got me the most. What was the line? It was, "The story has been yours the whole time."
So that's the line. I'm glad you said that. So, and it's, I like that they said that because we kind of knew that for the last 5 years when he's the only one that survives the snap. Like he's the one that takes over.
Yeah.
He does kind of lead them in the end. Like he is a leader throughout, Endgame.
Yeah.
Like he's there, and he was always afraid to lose them, and he lost them, and he's a true leader. Which at the end, spoiler, he becomes. I shouldn't even say that anymore. He becomes the leader, the captain of the Guardians.
I only said it because we switched franchises completely and dropped the biggest franchise spoiler there was.
That is the beauty of the Carbonite Crew. Is we are a pop culture podcast, so we're going to talk about everything. If you didn't check out our intro, there's all kinds of stuff. So, spoiler alert, Tracy's the mother. So, in How I Met Your Mother.
Oh,
so
what are we talking
we're dropping spoilers in this episode.
All right. So speaking of wizards,
Oh no.
Let's go to one of the characters, the new character
There's a new wizard? Oh,
in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Adam Warlock.
That was a good segue. Don't
I don't
take
even
it
know
away
what's
from me.
happening.
Don't take this from me.
I've worked my whole life for this.
I am tired of you killing my segues. Oh my gosh.
Call me the Segway Killer.
Oh, call you something. All right, Adam Warlock. What'd you think?
I loved Will Poulter.
Mhm.
Or I keep saying Will Poultry. I love him. I thought he looked good in
Chicken Will.
Yep, I don't.
Poultry, chicken.
Oh jeez,
Oh
dude.
my
Oh my gosh.
I can't do this.
Oh goodness. We're live, so we can't even stop to like process the stupidity that's happening behind this table.
From you.
You said Chicken Will, dude.
Yeah, but you didn't get it.
Because it's stupid. Okay, so
Oh my gosh.
I thought he was a good cast. I liked how he was kind of the villain, for a second. He was
Sounds
creative.
like there's a butt coming.
But we knew he was going to transition to a hero at the end. Like, was that obvious, right? That was obvious the whole time.
I didn't know anything,
Okay.
and yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
obvious.
I didn't like the way they did it. It felt weird. It felt
Okay.
like they could have used that little creature thing as a little more in that whole like turning him.
Mhm.
But like his family just kind of died, and they saved him after he couldn't beat them, and he's like, oh, okay, cool. I felt like his humor in it was good, where they're all hugging at the end. He kind of walks up and he's like.
Awkward,
It was fun, but like it was too late. Like it
Mm,
was like,
yeah.
okay, I'm not invested enough in your character
Yeah.
to make that funny enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I get it. Like I
It
recognize
was-
in another movie that's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah. I think it was one of those things where it's like, man, we just talked about. There's so much going on in this movie,
Mhm.
and then he's just kind of like there, also happening as they go along.
Yeah.
And I thought he did a good job. I liked the character. And it wasn't bad. It was just like okay, I see what you're doing here. You have to throw it in there and have to get the change and the development in there. It just kind of fell flat a little bit.
And maybe it was the whole like, they gave him a second chance to live, so he's like, okay, cool, these guys are good. But it was just, we saw his humanity. He's not really human, but we saw his humanity when he had the pet, which looked like a Loth cat.
Yep.
I'm just gonna say that. That looked
It
like
did.
a Loth
It
cat.
definitely did.
From Star Wars Rebels and other Star Wars media now, actually. But it looked like a Loth cat. So we saw his humanity there, and I would have liked, I guess, more of like an exposition of like them explaining to him why they're trying to save Rocket, or him like maybe see Rocket dying, and him like that, and then him like it click for him, rather than just like, why are you saving me? Did not know he was English. I looked it up. He actually is an English actor.
Oh.
I just remember him in the Family Vacation movie, and he's not English. So, okay. But, yeah. So, I don't know. Other than that, that kind of fell flat for me.
Yeah, sure.
He's part of the Guardians now, according
He
to
is.
the end, the end credits scene,
Mhm.
which is fine. But
They needed another body to put in there.
they did.
So we had a couple departures.
So where we at? It's an emotionally taxing movie. We talked about that. Oh, I do want to bring up, so Linda Cardinelli, I think is her last name. She plays Velma in the Scooby-Doo movies. She plays Hawkeye's wife. Laura Barton in all the Marvel movies and TV show. And she voices Lila,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought she did a great job. But the whole movie, I'm just like, why is her name? And Lila's already an established character in the MCU. So,
Oh, wow, okay.
in the Marvel comics.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought it was funny that her name is Lila, and then she has a daughter. The actress, his other character, has a daughter named Lila.
Wow.
This is not a reach. It's just the way I'm explaining it. It's not a reach.
You just tripped yourself up.
I did. I tripped myself up, but yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
It was very
Fun
interesting.
little
It was
fun
a
fact.
fun little fun fact.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Look, dude, there's Cosmo.
Did you find it yourself, or did you?
There's a.
For those who can't see, on the other side of the camera, I have a golden retriever. Her name is not Cosmo.
Okay,
But that's a
the
good
bad
joke.
dog joke was great.
That did get me. That was pretty funny.
Because it's like Cosmo basically says like, I know you don't mean it and I know you don't think that, but it still bothers her the whole time.
It's hilarious.
I know you don't mean that. And then I'm for and against jokes that are so obvious, but like when she like saves Kraglin, I'm just like, that's a good dog. Like you knew he was gonna say it, but I'm just like, Say it.
Look, I need it. I need it
complete
as much as she does. I need to hear this. I love him too.
Craglin's
he's
great,
amazing.
dude.
He kills me.
What
He's funny.
Sean Gunn
Mhm.
is just, he's amazing in
Yep.
that role. He's done a great job. Great, he's got a great story arc.
Yeah.
And speaking of story
A
arcs,
really, really good one.
so
That's a good one they've developed like
slowly.
slowly over the movies where it's like been kind of piece by piece and you see it building. Because he's never been like a huge main character.
And one thing I want to bring up is speaking of like story arcs.
Mhm.
So we've gotten a lot of story arcs out of this franchise, over the course of the movies. And
Yeah.
obviously there's other movies that have helped, such as the Avengers and stuff that they're in. But I want to talk about Nebula in her story arc and how it's probably one of the best written story arcs in the MCU. Because you see her go from this villain, basically tortured and programmed to kill, to, in this movie, she's one of the leaders, really.
Yeah.
She's helping save. Like, she stops Gamora from attacking Peter at one point, and she basically says, Rocket's done more for me than I can admit, and he's family, and we're gonna save him. I'm just like, wow, just the character development thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's fantastic.
That was one of the moments that got me too, was her emotional reaction to Rocket, and I was like, whoa, because I didn't expect it, and it was like,
and everybody has a different emotional reaction to Rocket.
Yeah. But it kind of it pulls it together, and I think that this movie did a good job of transitioning Star-Lord out of being the leader, because he really wasn't and now that you think about it, it's like, okay, he kind of took charge a little bit in the first
He was
one.
in charge, but he wasn't the leader.
Exactly.
A leader, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you actually get this whole exposition in the first one when they're trying to Rocket's like, I'll do it, and even in the Avengers movies, you're like, well, I'll do it.
Even when Thor comes around and is
Exactly.
hanging out with them, it's like everyone gravitates toward Thor, and Peter's mad about it because he wants to be the leader, but he's not.
He's not.
It's not in his. That's not what he is. And every time he's kind of been put into the position, he's kind of messed up.
I just want to side note this because you said something, and I cannot believe they addressed it. And I don't know if you want to call it fan service. I don't know if you want to call it realization. But when Star-Lord is telling current Gamora about his relationship with past Gamora, he's like, yeah, he pushed, and the other one, he pushed her off a cliff, and then I lost my head after I found out and almost killed half the universe. Because he's the one that punched Thanos and basically woke him up, so Spider-Man couldn't take the gauntlet off. Because it would have been over right then.
Yeah.
It really would have been over right then and there. And I'm like, yes, it's addressed. That was everyone. That was the joke. That was the running joke or meme.
Yeah.
It's this guy literally ruined it. But it's true.
It's true, and he did.
And I'm glad that he recognizes that. I would love to see who told him that, because I doubt he realized that himself.
I don't think so either. I think it's a good point.
Probably Rocket.
I wonder if that. Well, yeah, probably. I'm trying to think if the reference had been made at any point that I'm forgetting.
No, I don't.
Somebody's,
Well, it had to be
made the
someone that was on
comment to
Titan. So who would have made that reference?
Yeah. Yeah.
Spider-Man in a passing comment.
Maybe. Yeah.
Or as Nebula was there,
Mhm.
she could have made that
Yep.
comment. Yeah,
She would.
she would have made that comment for
Yeah.
sure. It was Nebula.
That's a really good point. It's funny because when Rocket became the leader, and I was like, oh man, this is such a good story. I'm happy and this is exciting. It's fun. And as I'm thinking about it more, it's like, oh, and it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense just from everything we've been talking about. I didn't expect it, and I didn't know that it was going to be a thing, and I didn't know that it should be until it happened. And I was like, yeah, Rocket should be in charge.
He's Rocket's the man.
He gets stuff done.
He does. I'm losing my train of thought again. There's just so much that was happening in this movie. Wow, fill my space while I think.
Yeah, no.
I can't. I just.
So a lot of
blanking.
change happened, a lot of transitioning, where the Guardians have now lost a few members and gained a member, and then I guess so. We kind of get to see there at the end of the movie in the after credit scene, and in that picture that they show us, we get to see, okay, we now know what the Guardians of the Galaxy is going to look like moving forward. Do we know if we're getting a Guardians of the Galaxy 4?
I was under the impression this was always a trilogy, especially
Okay.
with James Gunn moving on to being, co-head of the DC.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
he's done.
Okay.
He did a great job. I'm sure there were some things thrown in here on purpose because of that, like an F-bomb. Awesome. Also awesome they let him get away with it. But he told great stories throughout this whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, he was a producer or co-writer on a lot of the Avenger movies in the end because it was all a collaborative effort. I mean, he knew the Guardians. He was the Guardians, and that's kind of why I don't want another one, because if you look at the Guardians in like Thor, and even in some of the Avenger movies that weren't directed by James Gunn, you can see the difference.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, take a look at the holiday special, for crying out loud. That's a piece. Honestly, it might be holiday special, Volume 1.
Oh yeah.
I think the holiday special might be.
It was.
And it's canon because, like, without that, you were kind of confused of where we were at when we got there. Like, 100%.
Because you don't know. You wouldn't know what Nowhere was, right?
You would know what Nowhere was, but you wouldn't see, like, I guess the current setup.
Like, because they give a lot of that exposition.
And like,
intro song.
Star-Lord and Mantis being brother and sister.
Yeah.
That would have thrown you way off had you not seen the holiday special.
That's right.
And they did enough where if you didn't know that, you were like, you kind of were just like, okay. Like, there was like a few references.
I guess
this is a thing.
Yeah.
Which, just to bring it back to the emotional part of it for 1 second, is it was so emotional because like everyone's reaction to Rocket, basically dying.
Yeah.
Especially like Peter, where the last interaction was him being drunk and like telling him to piss off, basically.
Yeah. And not being available. Like,
yeah,
he probably wouldn't have been able to stop
Adam
Warlock. But like, that's not what Peter's gonna think. Peter's gonna blame himself.
And he says that. He's like, I could have done this or that. And I want another running joke that was awesome there. And this, to me, I don't know if this was purposely a How I Met Your Mother reference in this movie, but to me it was, which made me love it even more. And I think they did it twice in the movie, where Peter's like, I have to save my best friend, and Drax is just like, second best friend. And I guess that was even a running joke between you and I and our friend Alex for a long time. So I was just like, this is great. That was
really good too. I enjoyed that very much.
Drax's character in this was great. Everyone had good story arcs.
Oh, the Drax one, that got me. Was it Nebula that made the comment that was like,
"You're stupid"?
No, but it was later on after like she did that, and then we got to see Drax be a dad.
Oh,
she made the comment of,
she's like, you weren't meant to be a destroyer. Drax the Destroyer. You're meant to be a dad. And I'm like, okay.
That one got me.
I was curious. I was about to say, I thought about you in this.
That was the one that got me, I think.
I was wondering.
And I was like, oh, God. It made a lot of sense, because it's like Drax is kind of like
he lost his family. His daughter. That was his whole motivation.
Yeah.
When we meet him.
Exactly.
I'm going to kill.
And it was cool to like bring it back to that. And it's like, oh, he's not just like the dumb muscle. Like, he lost his family, and now he gets to like step into that role of dad again.
And at the end, when he's saying goodbye to Mantis, which their relationship from the second to this is like, I thought that's been great. Holiday special, like I think their relationship has glowed on the screen. When Drax is crying, that got to me a little bit too, because like, to me, I saw Dave Bautista, the actor, like I saw him reacting to this. I didn't see Drax.
Yeah.
Because Dave Bautista's been very vocal. He's a former WWE superstar. Like he was very popular, one of the biggest names in the company for a long time. Moved on to acting, but he credits James Gunn in this role as like basically saving his life, because he was broke. He kind of hit that thing where he was in debt, and then he got the role, and like now he's been in other movies.
Yeah.
I personally think he's the best wrestler turned actor. That's a whole nother like thing. And so I saw that as, and he basically said this was the last time, he was going to play it. So I saw that as like his goodbye to this role, this character.
Best wrestler turned actor. That includes
you have a handful.
The Rock.
Yeah, that includes The Rock.
Okay.
Because name a Rock movie.
All of them?
There you go. You just answered your own question.
Jumanji.
Cool.
One of my favorite.
Same character in the other movie too.
Oh yeah, no, he plays the same character.
And that's the thing. Where Drax. Dave Bautista was just in an M. Night Shyamalan movie playing a guy who's like a religious figure, and he's threatening people to kill them because if they don't. I haven't seen it. I'm going off the trailer. But it's completely different than this.
I love it so much. I think that's my thing. He's like, I don't know that I've seen him in any other movie.
He's
So I don't really have a take.
there's
on it,
he's in Dune, isn't he? He's in Dune.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch that.
Part 2 comes out later this year.
I was like, oh man, I have to read that book first.
Yeah, I need to do a lot of things. Like see part 1.
I was, you haven't seen it,
I haven't seen
probably.
part 1.
We'll have to watch it sometime.
So, but yeah, like he's, I mean, all sorts of
Mhm.
movie roles.
Yep.
So it's awesome for him. What was your favorite part of the movie? Mine's once it happened, I knew that was it.
Okay. My favorite part, the car door scene probably was.
The car door scene.
I laughed so hard.
Open the effing door. She's like, your instructions were very unclear. They weren't. I didn't think they were.
I was dying. It was so unhelpful. It's such an unhelpful comment, and the shock factor of it was just
The
like,
shock factor was
It killed
good.
me. It killed me.
My favorite scene in this movie. So you get the scene a few moments before where Rocket's saving all the little raccoons, and he's been so offended by the raccoon comment,
Mhm.
and he opens it and it says, North America, Earth, like common
okay.
name raccoon, and
Yeah.
it clicks for him like, oh, I'm a raccoon. And then it was that moment where he's getting basically attacked by Stretchface,
Uh-huh.
and he hits the anti-gravity boots that were introduced in the beginning of the film,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yep.
And he goes, Rocket Raccoon, because that's his name in the comics.
Uh-huh.
It's Rocket Raccoon,
Yep.
and I'm just like, that was it. Like as soon as I saw it, I'm like, that was badass.
That was really
that was
cool.
so
That
cool
was
because
such a
it
cool
it just
scene.
happened so quick,
Uh-huh.
like boom, 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 and I'm just like,
This
yes.
movie made me realize, like,
how much you love Rocket.
yeah.
Yep.
And I think
100%.
he makes these. Doesn't he make all of the movies?
Like we thought Star-Lord was the best for a long
Mhm.
time, right?
Yeah.
But it's not.
You thought it was him, but when you think back to even the first one, it was like, how many of the like great moments were Rocket
Yeah.
stealing? Was it the leg? In
The
first
leg!
One? Or because then there was the
And then he tries to
eyeball
get
in
the
another
eye.
one, right? Oh, he tries to get the eye, but he steals the leg. Like that sticks out
Yes.
as one of the like best moments in the MCU. It's like so iconic and so funny.
And it's
Oh my God.
funny because like his character's funny. We all love him, and it's very. And I'm gonna bring this back again. So I apologize if it's annoying, but like it's really reminiscent of the Barney Stinson character because the only reason they're both like that is because of their insecurities and like the pain inside.
Yeah.
It's a mask,
Mhm.
but it's like
Yep.
you love it, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
I just he
Mhm.
might be one of the best MCU characters. I mean, at this point, you know.
He's gotten really good development.
That's the biased
with this
opinion
movie,
right now, but
because he got the headline in this movie and it was really fun.
that's Rocket's the man. And you know what blows my mind every time? Before I even saw the movie, I saw some red carpet interviews, and I'm like, Bradley Cooper's just showing up in his like sweater. It doesn't look like he belongs to this premiere. It looks like he just like was like, I guess I'll go for the night. Like I'll get a ticket.
Yeah.
And he's like talking. I'm like, Bradley Cooper's been in the MCU since 2014, and it baffles my mind.
Because you don't think about it. You think about it as Rocket.
Yeah, and like you can kind of hear it if you're really paying attention, but I just never think about it.
I watched a clip today, I think, actually, of him doing the some of the
yeah.
voiceover work, and it's actually Bradley Cooper talking
Yeah,
to the
you
mic,
can
and
hear
I was
it.
like, now I hear it.
It's
For
fun-
whatever reason, the visual of actually him talking,
You know the most.
yeah, that
when
did it for me.
The moment where like one of the few times and like where I'm like was watching and I'm listening, I'm like, oh, that's Bradley Cooper. It was actually this movie at the very beginning when Rocket's singing. Because I'm like, oh yeah, Bradley Cooper can sing like he's sang in
Oh,
The
yeah.
Stars Born. Like I heard Bradley Cooper in that
Mhm.
moment.
Yep.
I'm like, oh okay. And can we talk about? I can't believe we almost forgot about this. Can we talk about Groot saying words?
Oh yeah, that got me too.
I don't know if I liked that or hated it in the moment, but
I
it
loved
was great.
It was so good.
I've never heard Vin Diesel more in my life than that moment.
Yep, I did hear it. That's when I finally was like, oh,
And-
there he is.
And I
It really is him.
was watching this and I was like, I want to see a behind the scenes reel one day. It can be fake. Don't tell me it's fake. Tell me it's real. A Vin Diesel impromptuing or just like improving that, where they're all in the booth together or something,
Uh-huh.
and they're like, we're keeping it in.
Yep.
That's what I want.
I want like a smash clip of him voicing I am Groot in like 600 different inflections. just over
Dude,
and over.
he did the
him.
first one. He did do that.
That's what I want to see.
There's like thousands of them.
I just want to see him saying it over and over
I
and over.
agree.
And
He
over
did
and
sound
over.
like Vin Diesel more in this movie than any.
Yeah.
I liked his look at the end too. Looked very more
Yeah.
comic book accurate.
Oh, okay.
The MCU has done a fantastic, dare I say, marvelous job at making very comic book accurate depictions of these heroes and making them realistic.
Yeah.
The suits in this one, Groot in this one, the Hawkeye's uniform or outfit in the show, Moon Knight, and it doesn't none of it feels out of place.
Yeah.
Where when we started this 15 years ago,
Longer?
yeah,
No,
15 years ago, it was how can we make this real?
Yeah.
You know, and it's slowly evolved. And talk about a slow burn. Talk about the focusing on the end game of everything. I'm just full of them today, and yeah, this was a good movie.
I enjoyed it.
Solid 7.5.
It was good. It was a good movie. It just wasn't.
I don't think it will be as emotional the second time, which will be good.
No.
I don't
Yeah,
need
that's
that
probably true.
anymore. That was sad AF. But
For me, it comes down a lot of it's like rewatchability. Like,
it is. I get that.
so I don't know. I'm not gonna be like, I want to go.
I would
watch
go
it
from
again.
one holiday special to this.
Yeah, and skip over two.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of the
That's a good point. When I go back and do another Marvel watch through at some point, I will watch this one. I won't.
yeah.
skip
No, I wouldn't skip this one. The post-credit scene at the end I thought was good with Quill and his grandfather, which we all knew that was going to happen at the end, I felt like. And it was just a very, you and I were talking about it before we came on air, it was just a very, like, real scene.
Yeah.
It was a real conversation you'd have. It was very, Peter Quill-esque. It was very real. They're talking about it. And I won't go over the whole scene, but if you've seen it, I thought it was funny. On the newspaper, did you see the newspaper?
Yes, but I forget what it said.
It said like celebrity abducted by
Oh,
aliens.
yes, yes.
Kevin Bacon opens up, and I'm like, and I was like, oh, it's Kevin Bacon. That's so funny. And I just realized like 5 minutes ago, I'm like, oh, he's referring to the holiday special
Yeah.
because it's that whole thing. Because it probably would have happened.
That was my
relatively
biggest.
close.
My biggest disappointment was he wasn't in the movie.
I thought the band was gonna be that we saw in it. I thought they were gonna be in it.
I loved the rocket cold open though.
Singing the song.
Mhm,
Then they were
just,
like putting up the
walking
Guardians
around
of the
and you got
Galaxy
to see
logo, pretty
everything.
much.
Yeah.
Neon.
And then
that
it
was-
got immediately destroyed. That
Yes.
was pretty funny.
That was. I didn't realize how quick it did. It was like literally 2 minutes.
It was,
It was
right
less
at the
than 5.
beginning.
Oh, actually, what I really loved, a scene. I thought it was a brilliant scene. Was Rocket's playing. I forget what song he's playing, but he's in his apartment or whatever, and it just cuts to like Adam Warlock flying and whatever song they're playing. I think it was "Crazy on You" was the song maybe
Sounds
playing.
right, yeah.
But the way he came in and like maybe it was just me, but it almost looked like they used some weird camera filter to make it look more like 70s ish. Like with and I'm just like, this is really cool. I was like, this is memeable.
Memeable.
This is
Like it.
memeable, so I'm sure it's already out there, but I'm like, this is just fun. Like this is cool. And then he attacked Rocket and he ruined it.
Oh yeah.
But that was cool.
I didn't know he was gonna be. I thought he was just a good guy. So when he was flying in, I didn't
I
expect
think
him
he's
to like,
the one.
start blowing stuff up.
I think he's the one that kills Thanos in the original Infinity Gauntlet comic series, or Nebula.
wow.
Might be him or Nebula. Might be
Okay.
Nebula.
Wow. Okay. Which
So-
makes sense.
Which I thought it was gonna be Nebula in Endgame,
Mhm.
but yeah,
Oh, what a beautiful scene.
all of them. Dude, the visuals were stunning. This whole movie was really good. There's stuff I'm forgetting, I'm sure, but I had a good time with this movie.
I might be willing to come up to
A 6,
a 6.
a
maybe.
6, maybe
Maybe.
6.5.
After talking about it. Not 6.5.
There is
But
an
a 6.
app. There's an app you need to
Maybe.
get. You need to get this app. I got it. I don't update it enough. But we need to do.
Are we gonna get a sponsorship by you talking
We
about it?
should get a
Just kidding.
sponsorship from this app. It's a great app. It's called Letterboxd. It's one word. It's a movie rating app. Like you put in what movies
Uh-huh.
you've seen, and then you rate them. So like this one that pops up, I have Renfield on here. I gave it a 2.5. But you can see your basically every movie that I physically have put in that I can remember seeing. Clearly, I don't know how to use the app, so we should get sponsored so they can teach me how to use the app.
That's
But
kind of cool. And then you can
here's
just like go back and look.
yeah, you can see. So again, I clearly don't know how to use. Okay, films. So this is everything I've seen
Yeah.
that I can remember, and I rate them all. It's like 3.5 stars, 4.5 stars, 1 star. There's some TV shows in here too, but it's super cool.
Interesting.
So maybe you should get that. You should put it in. Maybe we'll make it public so people can dog us, because you can friend people on here and stuff.
Oh,
It's,
that's an interesting thought.
Yeah, super cool.
I really want people to be able to make fun of us easier.
I mean, yeah. What's the point? I mean,
We don't really need the help.
can we talk about the Drax couch scene? That was gold. That was comedic gold. That whole couch scene, we're on there on Counter Earth, was comedic gold. Because nothing he says is wrong. Because he's like, he keeps laying down, and he's like, they're like, it's for sitting. And he's like, I find it hard to believe this doesn't have multi-use. This isn't a multi-use contraption. He's like, why is it oblong then?
Why is it oblong then? Was my favorite. I was like, oh my god.
I was just like, yeah, I liked I find it hard to believe it doesn't have multi-purpose use. I was just like,
I love how they come up with that stuff, man.
right, like, is it just stuff that happens? And they're like, that's funny. Put it in.
I almost think so. Like, he was just sitting there and was like, oh, it'd be fun. Drax, I feel like, would be bored and would lay down to try to sleep.
Gosh, in a way, like I said, Batista's played this role. Mantis makes him forget that they called him dumb. And then right after, he's like, ha! You see me knock down that door? Gosh. I think it would have been a tad funnier had he actually said that right after he did it. So he just repeated himself. That would have been fun. I enjoyed this movie. See, I'm enjoying the movie more and more that we're talking about it. I like it, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Not like The Last Jedi or The Rise of Skywalker, where it goes the opposite direction.
We don't need to go in that.
Oh, we just teased that so hard how much we hate these movies. We need to lay into them one day.
We will.
What we should do is have people tell us what they hate about those movies, and then we'll just bring them all into comments, and we'll just talk. We'll go over all of the comments, and then we'll just talk about it on a live show.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea.
So that was a good movie. I'm happy. We did it.
That was it.
That was our first Marvel-based, topic, I think, for this live show.
I think so too.
Hope it sounded okay. We got our lav. I think we
have no
mic'd
idea.
up okay, but we'll find out here in a little bit, I guess. Like and subscribe to the channel. It's a little late in the show to bring it up, but do that anyway. Let us know what you thought about the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yes, please.
And I'm excited for Superman by James Gunn here in the next few years.
Years, yeah.
Next few years. Who will our Superman be?
I don't know.
I don't know. Thank you guys for watching, and until next week, may the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
See you guys.